So I think I did turn down some opportunities because I was afraid that I wasn't good in that field. So I'm not going to go do something I'm not good at. Not taking those opportunities didn't open as many doors. But after a while, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start saying yes to people. And I'm going to start saying yes to these things that I probably wouldn't have gotten to do. And so those opened up so many possibilities. That's how I came back to Tucson. That's how I got a job at corporate.
They don't need you to be a SME, a subject matter expert in something. They actually want to know that you can take initiative, that you're a go-getter, that you're driven, that you can collaborate. It's those types of skills. And with a little bit of base knowledge across the board, like Shauna is saying, that's what they're looking for.
As Shauna mentioned earlier, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be the SME in every field. And actually it gives you more credibility to say, you know what, I don't know the answer to that. Let me get back to you on it.
Just doing that degree is not going to lead you exactly to the career field you want. But also your degree is not going to dictate what you can study and do research on in the long run. If you can customize your background, you can actually grow that field and direct where you end up in your final positions. So that is my take on why I believe you make the job that you love. If you really do want to continue to grow, this idea of continuing education is, in my opinion, very important. Because the more you can step outside your comfort zone, the more you'll find this is actually something that I also prefer to work on. Always know that nothing's always easy. There's no perfect job. There's always things that we don't like to do in our day-to-day lives. My big goal is for you to follow through, get something out of where you currently are, whether or not it's a degree, whether or not it's a paper, whether or not it's some sort of technology or patent that you get out of it. And then while you're doing that is when you plan your next move.
Say, you know what, I need help. People actually give you credit for that. People actually elevate you. You actually go up the ladder. Remember the successes, don't dwell on the failures, stay with a cool head.
You can always kind of remind yourself that like, no, there's a lot I'm learning here. You know, and you can always hone those just like really general skills, like your writing skills, your coding skills, research skills. All of those will serve you well no matter where you end up and what you end up doing in the long term. If you know like a harder situation is coming up, like do what you can to think about who you can call for help or who you can rely on and what you might be able to like shuffle off your plate.
I was going to talk about 3 or 4 things that I think are absolutely critical to succeeding in your engineering career. So the first, absolutely most critical piece, and if you've had me in dynamics or robotics, you'll hear me say this time and time again, you have to find your motivation. So the second most important point is that you need to frame your challenges as opportunities, because if it's easy, someone's already done it. It's as simple as that. Next one, okay, resilience is much more important than skill. If you take 2 people of the same intelligence and one person works 25% harder, in 2 or 3 years, the person that's not working 25% harder is never going to catch up to that other person. It's all about your ability to work hard, and it's that resilience to overcome these challenges.
There's no one size fit all in this. And I think when we start thinking about how could we actually change these experiences so that Black students, marginalized students feel more supported, feel more welcome, feel a greater sense of belonging, the way to do that is to start knowing more about who the people are, right? If we know who's there, if we know how the compounding nature of all of these identities work together, then we can start to support that. And then we can really be inclusive. If we start thinking about how we accommodate and support students, those added identities call for different things. And we've got to figure out what those are. But before we can figure out what those are, we've got to know who the people are that are sitting in the seats. It shouldn't be that a personality type helps somebody get through graduate school. It should be that the environment is conducive and supporting for everyone to thrive. So that's how I ended up doing this. And I wouldn't change it. I would not change it for anything.